So, music catalogs being sold left, right, and center.
Yeah.
What does it mean? Why is it happening? Where are they going? Yeah. Let's talk about it, I guess.
You ask a very good question. What does it mean? Because for a good while, I had no idea what it meant. Because I'm like, why are you selling your rights? Hello? Like, keep it. No, generate the money. But
I'm saying that's like royalties upon royalties that you're just like,
right.
I'm good. I'm like, pardon?
Yeah. No, I for a while I haven't understand like what was really going on. After doing some research, reading articles or whatever, I kind of had a bit of a better understanding. But I'm gonna leave you explain that because I feel like you're good at explaining complex situations.
I mean,
I'm not.
Questionable. I love a good rambling.
Yeah. So I'm gonna leave you explain that because then probably I could get a better understanding from you. So
okay,
let's go.
So basically, what's been happening? It's been happening for a few years now, but it's been more prominent now because we're seeing younger musicians, songwriters, producers engage in the act of selling their catalogs to various types of companies, most of which are private equity or investment companies, which, you know, obviously people are like, why would you do that? Because it seems counterintuitive. Truly it does. Because like it's already hard enough to make money in the music industry. And then on top of that, now you're selling your rights either entirely, because there are people that sold their entire catalog. There are people that sold half of it. There are people that only sold publishing. There are people that only sold recording. So it really depends. But even then, it's like you're just selling a whole revenue stream that now you've consented to no longer getting that. And somebody else is going to start profiting off of your stuff instead of you. Yeah. So again, the reason why people are paying more attention to this now is because we're seeing younger musicians such as Justin Timberlake and Shakira and Calvin Harris. And I mean, it happened to Taylor Swift against her will.
Against her will,
Yeah, but, you know, Taylor Swift and et cetera, when beforehand we were seeing, you know, Bob Dylan, Stevie Nicks, which are considered like veterans of the music industry. And for them, it makes a lot of sense because you can look at it in the perspective of, you know, they're setting up their estate. Some of them are like beyond retirement age. I think they just want to wrap up their ends and just be like, you know, cool, that's done. I don't have to worry about this stuff anymore. For other people, it's because it's beneficial tax-wise. Taxes are complicated in the U.S. I'm not about to get into that. But it's beneficial tax-wise.
I was about to say, not to cut you off, but I was about to say then, basically what I'm understanding is the same thing I've been understanding the whole while.
It's to make a quick buck.
It's basically to make a quick, because I was like, I don't understand, because I'm like, maybe it's me, because that's why I was like, let me leave you explain it, because I know you have a way of explaining complex things, like making it a bit more simpler. So I'm like, let me leave you explain it, but now that you're explaining it, it's the same thing. So I'm like, okay, it is what it is. That's exactly what it is.
So it is a way just to make like quick money. But like, it's not small money; it's huge money.
No, it's huge money. Like, let's talk about like
billions in the
400 million, 500 million.
Depends on who it is.
Depends on who it is.
Million around there, but still, it's in the millions. That's just like all of that money just boop, immediately in your bank account. You know what I mean?
And you know what I read? When some of them sell their catalogs, they still have a percentage of royalty, so they don't sell it completely, but they sell it to where like the company can have like the rights over the music, but they as an artist still gets royalty. And I'm like, that's smart, because you get a huge check, and then on top of that huge check, you still get royalties. Maybe the songs or the album or whatever might not be in demand. It might get a few like plays on Spotify or whatever, iTunes, whatever, to, you know, generate some streams, revenue or whatever, but it would not be as much, but it's still a source of income. But I think that's super smart, because you get a big check and then you get like these, you know, royalties along the way. I mean, like I said, it's not going to be big, but I mean, hey, like that's smart.
It's still
it's still
money, you know what I mean? I was gonna expand on what you were saying, where some only sell a percentage of their rights, depending on which ones they decided to sell off. I think it was Stevie Nicks. She sold 80% of her royalties, publishing royalties specifically. Mm-hmm. If I'm not mistaken, it was Stevie Nicks, which also I thought was really interesting, like separating it into like little percentages here and there, like segmenting, deciding exactly how much you're going to sell and stuff. I thought that was really interesting, but I also just thought that the whole thing was really interesting. I remember the first time that I was like, was when the news of Justin Timberlake selling his catalog came out, because I was like, why? Yeah. And I remember I was here with family of mine who are musicians, and the news came on the TV because I think we're on like a music channel, and it had that like little news section that music channels normally have. And they were talking about Justin Timberlake, and my cousin actually asked me like, why? Because she was like, why would you do that? But it's what I said off the whim. I was just like, to make money immediately. Like, it's probably just necessary for a few of them. They probably just needed it then and there.
But it makes sense. It makes sense because
and like, if you're like Taylor Swift, you know, you're gonna keep recording for another decade probably. So you're gonna recoup that shit anyway. You know what I mean? So I guess you can just do it. As much as, again, I repeat myself, she did not sell the things.
And I saw that she was actually re-recording all her back catalogs because it was sold. Without her permission. I'm like, okay, Taylor. Like,
she decided that.
First of all, you have the time, because I mean,
I'm saying, but
the whole catalog,
it worked out for her. Like it did. But
and I was gonna say,
hustling on that front.
To expand a bit more on what you were saying, in terms of like, it was very interesting to read then how they like negotiate the percentages. I think that is a very good thing to do when you want to sell your catalog, because like just selling without any, I mean, of course there's a contract in place, but I mean like with specific clauses that you would want to have in there to take control of certain things. I think that's the smartest thing someone can do. Like how the music can be used, if it's going to be used like for a commercial, maybe it should be, you know, be approved by the artist first. I would still be able to get like royalties, you know, like just a little few things in there to have a bit of control, you know, of what happens over your music. Even though you're selling it, it's still you, it's still your recording, it's still your voice, it's still your, you know, your thing. So,
like from what I understood of the companies that buy catalogs and stuff, they actually only started doing it because they realized how lucrative it was. Because, you know, if you're buying a big musician's catalog, you're guaranteed royalties for years and years and years and years, right? So it's really lucrative. And the only reason that they're actually doing that is because it's lucrative. I don't think that they really went in with the intention of actually like using the music elsewhere. I think they just do it to collect the royalties. Which is like fair enough, man. I feel like if I had that kind of money lying around, I'd also buy somebody's catalog, because that's passive income immediately. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, no, for real. And and just like what you said with like the older persons like selling the catalog, it makes sense because like you said, they're already like, some of them already retired or are going into retirement. So like having this lump sum of cash to do whatever they want
to set up their estate.
To set up their estate and to do whatever they want. I mean, it just makes sense. Like before I was like, this don't make no sense. But now I'm like, okay, it kind of makes sense though, you know, but I don't think everybody, because to just go back a little bit, I was actually scrolling on TikTok and literally a video popped up with Calvin Harris talking about selling his catalog. And he was on an interview and the person was like, so why did you sell your catalog? He was like, he couldn't even give a proper answer, because he was like, he's like, you know, I just sold it because I just wanted to start fresh. I'm like, what? But I was like, as an artist, it kind of makes sense, because if you created like an entire body of work and you have like multiple, songs, albums, or whatever, and like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know the feeling. Like, I know the feeling, but
Sharon said he doesn't know, but he knows.
I don't know how to tell it to you guys, but like, it just made sense. He's
I think it makes sense as well.
Yeah, he was like, he's like, I just want to start fresh. Like, this is my catalog. I'm going to sell it. I don't have any, once I sell it, it's like I'm starting back, like from the ground zero, from scratch, making new music. And he was like, since I sold my catalog and started making new music, I have like 5 hits. So like, this is like just something new, for me. He's like, I'm a freshman. It kind of made sense, So I was like, okay, if we look at it from that perspective with artists, it makes sense, because I would be like, I would probably sell my catalog just to be like, let me start fresh with this just new body of work,
Yeah, man. And exactly, it's like it's that same thing that I was saying. Like, Calvin Harris is still young. He's still got like a good few decades in him in music, if that's what he wants to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, I feel like it's okay for him to sell his catalog and just start again. It makes sense that he would want to do that. Because like, at the end of the day, he's still going to make money regardless.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Maybe he won't be making as much as frequently, but he's still going to be making money. And I feel like, he's already pretty set. He's had some pretty big hits. He's had some very big hits. So yeah, I feel like we've been seeing a lot of this in the news, and we were like, maybe we should address this topic, because there have been a lot of people that asked me why. And I was like, because money, guys. There's no other way to really explain it. Money.
But money. I think it also varies, like, reasons. Like, I mean, the main reason, of course, is money. But I think, like, because like you said, it's tax for tax purposes as well, because a lot of them get tax benefits, because like you said, the tax system in the US is just shaky.
What I understood was that the tax bracket was going to go up if you earn over a certain amount, so it was just beneficial for them to sell it now, because then they would only pay 20% tax versus the 37% that they would pay otherwise. So I was like, yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess I get it. I mean, I don't, because I don't understand taxes in the US, but like, I guess I get it. You know what I mean? I was like, yeah, sure. Tax breaks, tax benefits.
Yeah. So apart from tax benefits, also I was reading that some persons might just want to sell because maybe because there isn't much demand for the music anymore. Yeah. So I was like, okay, that makes sense, because there was like, there isn't much demand for the music anymore, and they're like, and they haven't had like much live shows or whatever, or like purchases or whatever, so they'll just like sell it over. And it makes sense, because if you're not, if the music is not in demand and you're not getting like shows or whatever, like, it would make sense to just sell it and like get these like 100 millions, in the bank, and still collect royalties, whatever that amount may be. But it would just make a lot of sense, to do it that way too. So, because reading the articles and researching, I was like, okay, I don't get it. But then, like, I was like, hold on a minute, like, okay, it's tax.
Yeah, like when you piece it all together,
when you piece it all together, it's like, okay, it's the tax purposes, it's like, okay, maybe they're gonna retire, they need the money, maybe it's because it's not in demand anymore. I like, okay, it's making sense now.
And also not to mention that they get paid really well for their catalogs. I was reading that one of the companies, which I'm assuming is now an industry kind of standard, pays you like 14 and more than a half, 14 and, but I'm just going to say 14 and a half for now, because I'm not trying to confuse my brain like that. But so they pay you like 14 and a half years on top of like what your catalog is already worth.
Yeah.
They pay you an extra 14 and a half years worth of like legacy royalties type of thing, like on top of that. So, it's a sum and then some on top of that. And then some is not small. So, they're getting paid really well for this shit. And like, look, if they're investing in other things, in other like industries and their businesses, if they have all these other streams of income, it's not necessarily money that's going to be missed, those royalties. So, I mean, there isn't much to it. It's actually pretty simple once you start explaining it and stuff. So yeah, guys, that was like a cute little a cute little thing there about music catalogs being sold and whatnot, and why and to who and all of that jazz. we're gonna move on swiftly because there isn't anything else left to say about that. Like, really, it's to each their own at this point.
And it's very straightforward too. Like, they sell it because tax purposes, money, maybe it's not in demand, whatever. Yeah.
And the companies buy it because they can make money.
Yeah, simple.
It's an investment essentially. But yeah, so we'll just go into the little small talk corner. For those of you who do not know, our small talk corner is where me and Chardonnay share 2 tracks that we're really feeling for the week.
Yes.
And we also ask each other a question that either has to do with music or doesn't have to do with music, because we're just nosy. So we ask and then we answer. Okay, so do you want to start with your first song?
Yeah, so my first song that I've been listening to like this entire week is called Counting My Blessings by Nadia Batson. And Nadia Batson is a soca artist from Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay.
And Counting My Blessings is a soca song, but a more relaxed soca song, because soca music is very like hype,
upbeat,
and upbeat. But this is a more relaxed soca song, talking about literally like counting your blessings, being grateful for life, being grateful for all the things that you have, the people in your life, and so forth. I think that song is very inspirational, motivational, and I think it just makes you feel good. So I was listening to that this week.
My first song is an old one, or it would be considered old because it wasn't released in the past like 2-3 years, by Coldplay. It's called Magic. I've been revisiting the Coldplay catalog lately because just like a lot of stuff with Coldplay has been coming up, and I was like, you know what? Let me dive back in. And it's been really fun. So I've been listening to Magic a bit. It's a song that means a lot to me and a big group of my friends. So it was just nice to revisit it. And also it's just like a beautiful song. It's a beautiful song. Like most songs that Coldplay makes. I really fuck with Coldplay. It's one of those bands that's just like timeless. So
yeah, I think in general it's nice to revisit old songs because it always,
I think so too,
makes you feel so good because like I told you, like it reminds me of back then, like what it was like in that moment listening to the song or what I was going through or whatever. So it's always nice to listen to songs again.
I think so too.
Yeah.
What's your second song?
My second song, so this is not a song that I've been listening to like constantly or whatever, but it's a new song that was just, I'm not sure if it was just released, but I think so, but the music video was just released. It's by Meghan Trainor. I think it's Made You Look.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So, it's not a bad song.
Viral.
Yeah, Meghan reminds me of Lizzo just a little bit in terms of like the style of music, just a bit, because like Lizzo does like the old groovy like disco kind of pop music, and Meghan also does like this kind of old
it's like old bubblegum pop.
Oh yes, old bubblegum kind of schoolgirl music, and I think it was so fascinating to see like how people are still into this type of music because Meghan has like so much views, like it's like in the millions already, and the video just came out, and I'm like, Meghan, how do you have this amount of views for this song?
Yeah,
when it's like an old bubblegum schoolgirly song.
Listen, she did the thing.
She really did it. So I'm fascinated with that. I think what I would love to do is research a bit more into that genre kind of thing, like that concept of music,
that style of pop,
to see like what are people mainly interested in and how does it make them feel, and why these artists make this type of music. Because I mean, like why Lizzo makes the music she makes, the type of music she makes, why Meghan make. I mean, you could make anything. You could make like R&B, you could make like the regular pop, but you chose to make like this specific type of music. So I'm like, that's very interesting. And for Meghan, like that's what she does constantly. And I'm like, Meghan, you could make other type of music that would sound good, but she does this.
She's got a really good voice.
Yes, but she sticks to this type of style of music. So yeah.
I mean, if it works, it works.
It works.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
There you go.
Okay, so my second song, in keeping with the Coldplay theme, but also in keeping with my bullshit of every week, My favorite, my other song for the week is "The Astronaut" by Jin of BTS. It was co-written by Coldplay. So Jin and Coldplay wrote the song together, and it was released on Friday last week. Listen. If BTS doesn't go big, it's not BTS. So my guy Jin flew all the way to Argentina.
Oh wow!
Debuted the song on stage with Coldplay.
Nice.
They invited him to just perform the song at their concert. So he went and he did that. It's a really beautiful song. That's just like about the people that he loves, and the music video is great. It's like movie quality. It's crazy. His voice is beautiful. And he sung it in a low register, which is something that we don't actually see from him very often. In BTS tracks and stuff, they tend to use his higher register because he can do a very clean falsetto. So they tend to do that a lot. But in this song, they really went for the low register, which is so dope because it's very unique to him. It was just a really nice send off, and the song definitely had a lot of Coldplay in it, but as well had a lot of Jin in it because Jin is a very big Coldplay fan. So it's just like a collab made in heaven, basically. Which yeah. There you go. That's my second song.
Nice.
Time for the questions.
You go ahead and ask me because I know you. No, let me ask you first.
Okay.
Let me ask you first.
What is Chardonnay going to ask me this week?
I think it's a pretty simple question. So, seeing that Taylor's catalog got sold by Scooter without her permission, if this were something that happened to you, like what would you do about it? Because Taylor is like recording like everything, re-recording like everything again. Like if this happened to you, like what would you do? Would you also like re-record everything, or would you like fight to get it back? Like what would be the steps that you would take to get it?
I mean, okay, so the way that it happened to her was particularly foul. I'm not going to get into it because otherwise it's going to become long stories. But the way that it happened to her was particularly foul. It's Googleable. You can go research it for yourself.
It's like Googleable.
But, yeah.
Is that a word?
Listen, if it isn't, it is now. I decided. But so you can like look up what happened to her. I don't think she had very many options. So if I was in the exact same situation as her, and it also happened to me the way that it happened to her, I don't think I would have very many options either. Because her options were either buy her master recordings,
buy it back
from Scooter Braun, or re-record. And as much as she definitely had the money to buy it back, I think it was more a stance of... It was more her sending a message that, like, you can't take advantage of me like this. So I'm just simply going to re-record because, again, she also has the money to do that. She can. She has access to everything to do that. So, look, I can't imagine a day in the world, a day in my life where I'm as successful as rich as Taylor Swift. So I really don't know what my options would be. If I couldn't buy it back, look, I feel like I'll just move on, hey? I don't know.
But that's what
as long as I still have my publishing royalties, I'm good.
But I'm about to say, like, most likely she still has her publishing royalties. But I'm asking myself, if she does re-record, like those newly recorded songs, like why? Like, what are you using them for?
Well, she's re-recorded them so that she can use them for whatever the fuck she wants, basically.
True.
Because the issue with her not having the ones that Scooter Braun had was that she then wasn't allowed to use her own music in a documentary about her own life. You know what I mean? So if she re-records it, she can do whatever the fuck she wants with it because she re-recorded it. That's like the one little clause to not owning your masters. You can re-record and make new ones, basically.
Now that I thought about it, I'm like, oh yeah, for true.
So I think that's what I would be forced to do in that situation, because I'm sure I'm not going to buy that shit back. I'm not going to buy that shit back.
It's like, I'm not buying my own music. I'm not
buying that shit back. It can stay there. I would just simply go make new shit. You know what I mean? If if I had that creative bandwidth in me, that's what I would do, I feel like.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, my question now.
You know what's hilarious? I was gonna ask you the same thing.
Really?
Yeah, but I'll change it. I'll change it up.
Okay.
Would you ever sell your music catalog? Like if you had a big one, right? So let's say Chardonnay in an alternate timeline continued his music career. Do you think that there would ever be an instance where you would be like, let me just sell like my publishing rights or whatever rights, however you want to sell your shit? Would you do it?
I think I would, but I think I would sell my earlier catalog instead of like my recent ones.
Yeah.
Just because I don't feel like they would have like a good amount of momentum, and I don't think it would generate that much royalties as yet. So I'll still hold on to that. But I think I would sell my earlier catalog. But
yeah,
I said but.
He said, wait a minute.
No, but definitely with specific clauses within the contract, because I mean, these investment companies or record labels that are buying over the catalog, they are eager to work with these artists and they're eager to do these deals because it's lucrative for them.
Yeah.
So there's still a possibility of negotiating, and both sides can get exactly what they want, because at the end of the day, if I sell and I have certain clauses, you still be getting royalties, you'll still be making money off of it. But I would want a clause like, I want to have permission or the decision to say yes or no if you're going to put my song, with a commercial or with a movie or whatever. And yeah, I still want to get royalties from it as well. So you could have it. You could like give me my check of like 100 million or more. But I still want a little bit of control in terms of like what you're going to do with it and like give me my royalties. As much as it's going to be beneficial for me, it's going to be beneficial to you as well. So let's just make the best out of it, and both sides can get, what they want. Like, I always remember this that Kris Jenner said. Kris Jenner said a negotiation is where both persons just give a little on each side and meet right in the middle where everyone is happy. So yeah, that's what I would do. I would definitely sell, but we would have to negotiate where we both can be happy. So yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. That makes complete sense.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, but I definitely think selling the catalog is interesting because me just being from the Caribbean, we have a sort of mentality whereas, if it's mine, and it does not need to belong to anyone else, But I think when you live abroad and you experience certain things, I think your mindset will change. So I guess that's why I'm answering like this, because I think if I was still living in the Caribbean, I would be like, nope. I wasn't selling to nobody.
Fuck no.
I would be like, no. If I was living in a Caribbean, I would be like, why do you need to own my stuff? I want to own my stuff. Me not knowing that it would be beneficial for both parties. I would feel like I would be losing out and they would be winning, when in actuality it's not, So,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
man. I mean, look, it is what it is.
Yeah.
There really isn't much to it.
I think anyone who's ever had the question of why are artists doing this, like, here's your answer. Simple.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple.
Straightforward. Yeah. Okay, guys, so we're going to wrap it up here. Hope you enjoyed our little cute, short and sweet situation here. And hope it cleared things up for you. And now it makes sense why people are doing this. But yeah, so if you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, share, subscribe. Turn on post notifications if you're feeling fancy. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Don't Touch My Music Pod. We share bloopers and stuff over there, so check those out or whatever. And then also, lastly, if you are listening on Spotify, Anchor, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts.
She said Apple Music.
I tried. My brain and my mouth were not on the same page. But anyway, if you're listening on any of those, make sure to follow the podcast, rate the podcast, leave comments depending on where you're listening from. And so, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Bye.
Bye.